To Echo Church Podcast again. We're back.
We're not counting episodes anymore, are we?
No, because I lost count.
Yeah.
It's episode 12. Episode 12.
This is a special edition too.
Yeah, special. No, it's not.
Yes, it is special edition. It's Damar's birthday today. Yeah, it's gonna show up a couple days after his birthday, but this is gonna be the most watched episode.
All right, that's because
I was gonna sing Happy Birthday, but I'm not because I want it to be the most watched episode.
That's funny. It is my birthday. That's fun. Yes. But more importantly, we have Pastor Paul back with us again.
Good to be here.
I'm here every week, but when you're here, people really watch. So that's important.
I don't know about
the
that.
views do go up when you're here, for sure. Not with you. Yeah, people love you too, Joe. That was Joe, by the way. You can't see him. We need a behind the scenes camera. We also have two of our interns in the room, which is really exciting. We have the OG intern back, and not OG, like OG with me. You started with me, sorry. And then we have intern 4, who's always here, Lucas.
Intern
4. Y'all are great. All right, anyway, so we're glad to have Pastor Paul here. We're going to talk about his sermon from this past week, titled A Different Goodbye.
Yep.
And you talked about, it's honestly, going verse by verse is... Like, we go verse by verse here at our church. If you don't know that, at Echo Church, we went through the book of First Peter, which was so much fun. It's the first time I've ever gone verse by verse preaching through through a book, and like great letter about suffering for some reason. Maybe that's just my point of view.
Just your sermons.
Maybe
just
that's
your
my
messages.
point of view. It's about suffering. Maybe it's not actually about suffering. You guys had some great stuff, but you closed the sermon series this past week with First Peter 5:12 through 14?
14. Yep, 3 verses.
12 through 14, which, first of all, you preaching an opening and a closing of a epistle is hard work, and you did a great job. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but to start off, let's go through some questions. Icebreaker questions that Joe created for us. Here we go.
We need to mention it's from Joe.
Yeah,
these are not
Joe.
your icebreaker questions.
Yeah, these are not mine.
I wonder if he used ChatGPT or what.
He did.
Yes, he did. All right.
He used ChatGPT. Yeah. I use it too. I told him to do that. All right. So, what is the most your message is really about serving. Mm-hmm. If we had to overview it, it's really about serving. So we have some questions about serving. What is the most meaningful way, or one of the most meaningful ways you've ever served someone, or maybe someone has ever served you? Either way.
Yeah. That's it. I thought about that question. I knew I was going to get hit with this question, and it's kind of hard to answer because, what makes for me, like what makes my serving meaningful, I don't get to determine that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
like what's meaningful to me.
Yeah.
So I can say memorable, like memorable experiences. There's a couple in our church, Jesse and Bobby Mickelson.
Yeah.
And I remember I was just greeting at the door when they came for the first time. Mm-hmm. They'd never been to church here before or anything like that. Showed up with a baby, very nervous, like what's going to happen. They didn't know I was a pastor or anything. Welcomed them, said hi, took their baby to the nursery, helped them get all set up. And then I got up to speak and they kind of freaked out. They're like, oh my gosh, that was the pastor that was like helping us get our baby to the nursery. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Which to me, that's memorable. Like, I just want to be, somebody told me this a long time ago. Every shepherd, like every under shepherd, every pastor, one day will be a sheep again.
Yeah.
And I it's meaningful to me, just those moments of like, helping someone take their next step, find their next place, that kind of. I think that, I'm guessing here, I think the most meaningful stuff that Jesus will look at in my life is how I've served my family.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
what
good.
no one else sees or no one else knows.
Yeah.
And there's not always a lot of kickbacks for it. It's like, I think those are going to be the most meaningful. For me, like people doing something for me, I think, I think back to like small acts, like again, the pastor that I was, guy, I still call him pastor to this day. I had to install an air conditioning unit in my little house when I first moved in Warren, Michigan, and he showed up in his shorts and t-shirt, and I mean, he didn't have to do that at all. Like he just found out from my wife and he came over and spent like 2 hours with me helping me install a air conditioning unit. I mean, so there's just a zillion little things that people have done, that make a difference. I
think for me, a strength of mine is I don't really pay attention to what's going on in the moment. I just keep going.
Yeah.
It's also one of my biggest weaknesses. So like I don't know things are meaningful until way later. So I think for me, like I know that some of the most meaningful ways that I know I've served people is over time.
Yep.
So like today's my birthday, and then I see who's like people, certain people. Some people are just gonna text just to text.
Yeah.
But there's certain people that I'm like, oh, I mattered to you.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, oh man.
Yes.
Like I haven't talked to you in forever, and I didn't recognize how important I was in your life.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal. Or like, like you get random letters sometimes, but then sometimes like after you preach, you get like a letter.
Yeah.
And it's like one that's like, whoa, that was really, 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 really good. You know what I mean? Like that was like that. Yes. Like that actually impacted you.
Yeah.
And that was actually helpful to you.
You're going to have one of your most meaningful ones when I get home tonight. Amy and I are making a video for you.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, yes. We're making a video. We make birthday videos. You have no idea what you're about to encounter. They're super awesome. Amy usually wants to cut them. She wants to edit the videos and wants to redo them, and I won't let her.
Okay.
And it's very funny because we usually argue on birthday videos too.
That's sweet. But like to me, like those are the ones.
I hear you.
And the opposite, same. Like I recognize, I will talk with people and I'll start quoting the same person over and over again, and then think, man, they had the biggest impact on my life.
Yep.
Like and I think for me, and the flaw in that is I wish I recognized in the moment.
Right.
And I don't always recognize the moment. I think I'm getting better at that as I get older, but I do know when I look back and I go, man, like, I think that's how I appreciate being here. It's like I look back and go, man, like you love our family so well. And I don't realize that until my mom calls me and goes, you must be at a really good place with a good pastor. And I think, and I go, I am at a really good place with a good pastor. Yeah. And it took I'm like, I can't believe God has really like blessed me with where we are. And I think that's where that's meaningful to me. Anyway, another question, what's one small act of service that has a big impact on you, which you kind of answered, but
I mean, today, so I think there's lots of little things. I think that things that impact us, this is what I discovered today. So today, I'm going to bring it up. Nobody would know about this otherwise. You came into my office. I just finished eating something. You're like, let me take that plate for you. And I was like, it's my birthday. You're not taking this plate for me, right? But like, that's probably little stuff like that's happened to me thousands of times. Yeah. And what makes it meaningful is when I take the time by the end of the day to thank God for people in my life. Then all of a sudden their service becomes a lot more meaningful. That's cool. It's a lot of little things. That's cool. I'm some of the stuff that people have done maybe was big to them when they did it, but whoever gave me the people that gave me the first opportunity to speak publicly. Man. I mean, and that like to a youth group, then to a church, like gave me an opportunity. It was horrible. And then the people who gave me a second opportunity, you know what I'm talking about?
That's the big one.
Like those are big, one. Like, and people don't realize like, oh my gosh, like what God's done in my life through like them serving in that way or blessing. Or in other people's lives that go way beyond that little moment of like, you did that for me, but that made a difference in lots 100%. Of people's lives. 100%. Yeah. So
it's like the many churches that believed in me with no reason to, like even being here. You have zero, other than your son, you have zero reason to believe in me and what I could do. I don't know. Legit. But like seriously, like there's no, like you could have, if you would have been like, no, it would have made sense.
Right.
Like, but like the fact that you believed in us and then gave us the platform that we have is such a blessing and such a small like moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a weekend. It was one.
And so many other people are blessed because of that, right?
It was one lunch, 3 hour, one 3 hour lunch.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that turned into what we're doing now, which is really cool. So, like, I think I share that sentiment. It's like the stuff that's like, my mom is so funny. She sent me, this is my birthday. She sent me a book that I got in 2006 at 11 years old. And it's my first biblical reference book. It has a bunch of words in the Bible and it has a bunch of definitions. The first time anybody's given me a biblical reference book ever. And they wrote a letter in it. And it's like almost prophetic. Like it was like, you like keep studying the word, keep loving and standing for righteousness. Like you're anointed by God and God's going to call you to preach his gospel or something like that. And I'm just reading it and I'm like, my mom has kept this from me, like, because she liked the book, so she kind of stole it from me. So she's like, you're 11, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, she gave you a book and she kept it.
And the reference book is not even that great. They've been so many great reference books since then, but like, it was like, oh man, like this little thing was like someone seeing in me at 11 years old what I could be at 30, which is cool.
You know, I can't remember if I use this in the message or not, but I've thought about this so many times. Like when you're framing a building together, when you're putting something together, you know, if you're building a house, you screw the boards together with screws, right? They're just little screws, but zing, zing, zing. And every, part of what that is people, when people serve you, and they give you opportunities and they do things for you that seem small, give you a book, a comment, put something into your life, sow a thought into your life, sow an opportunity. It's like putting another screw into whatever God is building.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And if people, I think there's a lot of people that serve and give people opportunities and do kind things and send notes, and they never understand the totality of what that means. Yeah. Not just for the person that they're serving at the moment, but all the other people's lives that'll be affected, you know, in a big way.
I think sometimes we're too tied to the totality of it.
Yep.
Like I think that we overstate our importance or understate it. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we're like, and like not trying to dive too deep in it, but like sometimes we're like, oh, like I did nothing. And it's like, no, like that one conversation that we had meant everything to me, but you'll never really know. Like, you know what I mean? But then the other side of that, some people are like, oh, I am the thing for you. And it's like, no.
And not to go too far down the road. You know, this message was a Father's Day message, right? Sure. One of the things that impacted my life in the biggest way, and it has to do with this, was serving. There was some congressman who took his kid fishing years ago, and the kid journaled about it, and his dad journaled about it, and the dad wrote in his journal, wasted day, took my son fishing today. But the kid wrote in his journal, best day ever. My dad took me fishing today. Wow. And that's the stuff, like, right? Like those little things, like you don't think they matter, and they do. And it doesn't have to be some superhuman act, right? No. Like don't give. You're just waiting for the big serve, or you're waiting for the big opportunity. Like that's not where it's at. Yeah, it's good. You know. And I just think, man, if we could just keep that focus of like, what has God got before me today in this moment? You know, honestly, just be available.
I feel like I do like the next question, but I feel like you're preaching already. So we're gonna.
All right, let's move on.
I just want to dive in. I'm a real because like that is a big premise of what you talked about this past week. Is like just do, like just go.
Yeah. Yep.
Just do it. You don't know what you're doing. Just do it. Yep. And I'm going to read 1 Peter 5, 12 through 14. NIV, it says this, with the help of Silas, whom I regard as a faithful brother, I have written to you briefly, encouraging you and testifying that this is the true grace of God. Stand fast in it. She who is in Babylon, chosen together with you, sends you her greetings, and so does Mark, my son Mark. Greet one another with a kiss of love. This is the passage that you covered, and I just wanted to read it before we dive in. The first thing that you really paid attention to, and I think this is an important point, is Peter with the help of Silas. And we talked about how Silas actually helped Peter write this book. Okay, like there's I think it's thought that he wasn't really good at Greek. He wasn't very educated in this way, at least.
Right.
So because of that, he found someone, Silas, that was really good at writing in this form of Greek. But is it more proper Greek or?
Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, so, you know, there's some debate. Some people still, like Paul had poor vision. Silas actually helped write some of his letters because of that. Some people think, well, maybe Peter had poor vision as well. But a lot of people lean toward, you know, hey, it's mentioned he's uneducated. You know, he's been with Jesus, and you can tell in the syntax when you get to the last few lines where Peter's actually writing. that, there's a difference between how he can communicate in writing versus how Silas can.
Yep.
Silas was well trained in Greek and, very brilliant guy. Yep.
You made this point, and I really this is so good to me, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, is the point you made off of that is you don't have it all together.
Yep.
You don't have to have it all together to help those in suffering, and really focusing on the fact that Peter was uneducated, and he wrote this masterpiece, 2 of them. Yep. Honestly. And then honestly, the book of Mark is also incredible, which is credited to Peter as well. Obviously, Mark writing it. But that is an insane thing to think about. Is I can't think of the disciples as uneducated. What a title for a man that is leading the way. Literally, if you're a Catholic, Peter is the cornerstone of the church. He is the first, what they would saint. He is the guy. He was the leader of the church. As we know, even reading the epistles, how can we apply that to ourselves? That's my question to you. It's Peter was uneducated, and God called him the cornerstone. Yes. The rock that I would, not the cornerstone, obviously Jesus, but the rock that I will build my church on. Yes. How can we apply that to our lives?
Yeah, well, and think about it. Paul writes, Paul's brilliant, right? He writes, so he's God uses, he uses the weak to confound the wise. Yep. It's God's way of saying hey, I can use anybody. I can do anything through anybody that I want. And he's used a donkey. He's used me, but certainly anyone that's waiting to get their life together, I got to have it all together. I got to be at a certain level. I got to do whatever. You're going to miss out on so many opportunities to be used and serve Jesus. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think this applies in our life all along the way. Last night, leaving church, guy just saying, hey, this is going on in my life. My family's kind of falling apart. I don't even know what my next step is, but I feel like I'm supposed to serve in some way. He goes, I need to serve because I got to get my mind off of things. So here's a broken person. So yeah. And that the truth is, we talk about this as a staff too, right? The question isn't whether someone should be serving or not. It should be where should they be serving. That's good. Based on what's going on in their life. That's very good. Yeah. If your life's really broken and a mess, you got to be careful where you're serving and what you're doing. Yeah. But it's part of the healing process. That's good. Yeah. So I think it's important in that way. You say things so quickly, but there's so much. If you're a church leader or a person in our church watching that was so much wisdom. It's not about if you can serve. It's about where is the best place for you to serve. We all have things in our life, and we want to make sure that you're in the right places at the right times. Obviously, there's things obviously, but I think that's a perfect way of saying no. Everybody needs. If you call Christ your King, you need to be serving His church and serving His people. And I think the funny way I've always said that is some people are called to ministry because they're good. Yep. I was called to ministry because I think God wants me in the kingdom of God. I think He wanted me a part. So He was let me tell you how I'm gonna get this stupid boy to come and listen. Go sing at this church, please. Get a mission in front of you. And with that mission, things broke off of me. My character had to change to maintain what God was putting in front of me, or even to walk into things that God was putting in front of me. He shaped my desires when I started serving in His church. When I was disconnected from His church and I wasn't serving, I found myself a long way from God. But when I connected, and I think that's a true for everyone. I don't know if you share the same sentiment, but no, absolutely. And just being able to serve in your brokenness. I think when we're broken, more of Jesus can spill out of us than when we feel like we have it all together, and I think that we can't wait. And I think that's what we're getting at there, right? Sure. Peter, of any of the followers, it seems like God, for some reason in the Bible, underlined, scored, highlighted all of Peter's failures.
All of them.
Everything. Why is Peter got to get, other people had to have said stupid stuff, but Peter's stuff.
Not as dumb as Peter.
I know, right? And, you said, sometimes God uses you because you're good, and sometimes God uses you because you're not.
Yeah, for real.
Because He's let me show you what I can do. Yeah. And
which is so humbling.
Yeah, it's very humbling.
So my question, this is such an off the wall question. So if you have to think about it, no pressure. Yeah. But there's a statement in this world called hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. So here I'm broken, hurting. Yep. And you're calling me to walk in,
Yes.
like, and to serve.
Yes.
And to, like, help people that are also hurting.
Yes.
Like that, like there's a whole philosophy that's against that.
Right. But okay.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And I don't have to think about it very much at all. You know, so is it true that hurt people hurt people? Yes.
Yeah.
But we're part of an upside down kingdom.
Yeah. It's good.
So the kingdom of God's different than that, right? Hurt people can actually help heal people that are hurt. And it's upside down. Everything about the kingdom is upside down. So the things that the world assumes have to be this way. When Jesus enters the picture, or the Holy Spirit's inside of us, it turns the whole thing upside down.
That's good.
So I think Jesus actually uses hurt people to heal other hurting people.
That's good.
You know, you don't have to have it all together.
That's good.
You know, you can comfort others with the same comfort you've received.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
Like if you haven't received that comfort, you have nothing to offer. You can only give people what you have to offer.
Yeah.
So if I'm hurt and I've never received anything from God in my hurt, guess what I'm going to offer you? Just
Nothing.
more hurt.
More hurt.
Yeah.
That's good.
But if I'm hurt and I receive God's comfort, or I receive God's grace, guess what I'm going to be able to offer you when you're hurting? God's comfort and God's grace.
I think there's a strength in that because, sorry, not to cut you off, but like I think there's such a strength in that because what I think people offer is the healing they found through practices and repetition and like things that we're giving to, like, methods, right? So now because I've gotten over it, I can tell you how to get through depression.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tell you the steps that I took to get through depression. And now you have messages. These are 5 things that help you get through instead of, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I be depressed sometimes. But I do know that the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yes.
So let me tell you what I do when I start feeling that way is I pray. And I ask God to come in. Like I start to like blah, blah, blah. But I know that God is the one that fills these gaps for me. Not that you will never be healed from those things, but like I think there is a power in those people going, you know what? Like I just experienced a death in my life. You're walking through a death. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm still grieving, but I do know that Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Because I've experienced peace. And I need you to know that the same peace that I've gotten, I know that Jesus can give to you. Let me encourage you that way.
And sometimes I don't have the solution for you, but let me put my arm around you and let's walk together toward Jesus.
Like I'm hurting, we're both going to Jesus.
That's right. We're going to do this together, and that's the encouragement. And that in the message I talked about humble helpers, right? In this line. Sure. So the interesting thing is that Peter does not need to mention that Silas helped him.
Nope.
But he does. He's being humble, right? He's just saying, hey, I don't have it all together. Like, I need help. I needed help with this. And like people already know Peter needs help. But what's a humble helper? Like, how can I help someone else when I have my own problems and struggles like what we're talking about? And what we talked about was, one, just looking beyond my own hurt to realize there are other hurting people.
That's good.
But the thing we kind of got at is like telling my story of what God's done in my life, but telling it for His glory.
Good.
And I think that's a way that we can help people. And we miss this, right? Like we say, just what you're saying. I went to this therapist and the therapist helped me. Well, they may have, but God gave you the therapist to help you, that's right? Good. Or, I read my Bible and God spoke to me. Well, it might be that you read your Bible, but it might be just like it's God that helped you. He gave you grace through His word, and so these are things we can point you to, but they're avenues of God's grace. It's still God. And that's what people need to hear from us.
That's good.
That's what's really helpful.
That's really good. Which leads me to, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You talked about how we need to encourage each other.
Yeah.
Peter's writing this, and I mentioned this in a sermon a while ago as a joke, because I'm like, wait, guys, I'm talking about suffering again, but can I tell you that this is an encouraging letter?
Right, yes.
This is actually an encouragement to believers. This isn't them getting on them. Like you hear it as that because we don't like suffering, but like he's talking to people that are already suffering. So like that's not the part he's focusing on. I focus on it because y'all don't like suffering, but they're suffering. They're dying out here, right? But this is an encouragement letter, and how like Peter, this letter is relatively brief.
Yes.
Right. So like how like we also can be brief and encouraging.
Yes.
And I love that. And I want to kind of dive into that. You go ahead. Yeah.
Because encouragement is best served in small doses.
Good.
Many times. Encouragement is best
good.
served in small doses many times.
It's
like
huge.
So
yeah, that's good.
Like so it's keep it brief because it gets to be overwhelming and you just add to people's suffering if you go on too long. But if you but just think about like those no. You and I both have the same problem. I said this sermon was going to be 25 minutes and I looked, it was like 40 minutes. But
it was.
So I have a lying problem too. I need some encouragement to stop. But like
it was so good.
People need so again, we think this is so small, this doesn't matter. But Peter writes this whole letter, and it is small. It's one of the smaller epistles. I mean, John has them beat, First John, Second.
For sure.
But like it's a short letter, but it's full of encouragement. Mm-hmm. And encouragement, and this is really important. Encouragement is not just you're going to be okay, attaboy, keep at it. It's putting courage in people.
Good.
So it doesn't have to be long to be strong.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be eternal to be immortal. Like you can give little brief encouragements to people. And the scripture's full of these. But and part of that just telling them like, do this, you can do this. Like 5 words, be strong and courageous.
Yeah,
right?
That's good. Yeah.
Don't quit, things like that can make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think also what I've learned is when you think of people, contact them.
Yes.
When they cross your mind, just go, hey, I'm praying for you. I love you. Anything you need. Like that stuff is so like, oh, someone's thinking of me.
Yes.
It's so so small, but it's so important. Even in my own life. Like when people text me and go, man, I was just thinking of you. I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. I'm like, wow, that's so sweet. Like, thank you.
Yep.
And I think that but taking the time, I use these words, bridge the gap between remote concern and real action.
Yes.
I think that's what happens is we're like, oh, I'm praying for you. One church I was at actually said this, so good. I had the pastor came and he was like, I'm tired of us as a staff telling people that we're going to pray for them.
Yep.
Stop and pray for them.
Right, just do it.
Stop saying you're going to pray for them. Do it right then.
Yeah.
Like literally stop.
Get rid of the buffer.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, just do it.
You go home, you lying. They know you lied.
Right.
Everybody knows you lied.
Yeah,
you did not pray for them. You didn't add them to your prayer list. You didn't pull out no phone. You didn't pull out no notepad. You forgot. So stop lying and pray for them right then.
Do it.
And then the next time you see them, ask them about it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And that right there, people felt so loved. But at the same time, guess what it cost us to do?
Yeah.
Love them.
Yes.
Honestly,
and what that pastor did was encourage you.
Yeah.
He put courage in your heart. You know what? Don't use a buffer and say you're going to go home. Just do it right now.
Yeah, do it right now.
That's encouragement.
Yeah, that's
do
good.
it. Go for it. Yeah,
that's
make it
good.
happen. Yeah.
So I think those doing those little things for people is life changing. Not just for believers, but even unbelievers. Like it's life changing. If you put your action, like when your action, compassion turns into action. Pastor Austin preached on that. When with every compassion that God gives you should turn into action.
Yes.
So when you have compassion, just putting a small action behind it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Oh man, and
it's
we
powerful.
watched that video together, right?
Yeah.
With Hal Donaldson.
Yeah.
And the confrontation with Mother Teresa, where she's like, "What are you doing for people in poverty?"
That's good. Yeah.
And then he's like, "I can't lie to her, so I'm not really doing anything."
Mother Teresa.
And I mean, think about how she responded. He said she was so kind. She just said, "Just do the next kind thing."
Yeah. Just do the next thing.
It was so kind, but like that, she put courage in his heart.
Yeah.
Like, do something. It's just some small thing to make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, the way to become Mother Teresa is one small kind thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all want to be Mother Teresa or whoever, And it's just like, hey, what's the one kind thing that's in front of me that I can do right now?
You always want to eat the elephant. Like everybody just wants to open their mouth wide enough to eat the whole elephant. It's one bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Just do a little bite, man. Like, and chew it.
Yes, exactly.
Like just take it's little bits that get us there, and that's what you're saying with the little earlier, the nail and the board. Like it's one. Like you might be one screw.
Yep.
Like, and you might be it, and the door might be on the ground, and you're the first screw.
Right.
But you're the first screw.
Right.
Thank God.
Put it in.
You might be the 167th one.
Right.
Still important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what matters.
And I don't want to leave that too soon tomorrow either for people that aren't in faith. Like, you talk about your mom. Your mom gave you a book, which she took back, which I think is funny.
She gave it back, though.
Yeah, she gave it back
at 30 years old.
Which I think is funny.
Yeah.
But,
19 years later.
It's very funny, actually. Now I'm trying to think through how many books I've taken from my kids that I gave them, but or anything that I gave them. But for people that are not in the faith, speaking words of encouragement over them that will encourage them toward faith in Christ, seeing things in them that are only possible through Christ, seeing them differently than everyone else sees them. It's planting those words of encouragement are seeds in their heart that are gonna grow and help them in incredible ways. And they don't even know, like, if it comes in an encouraging fashion, they might not even be aware that seed's been planted in there.
How different would our Christianity be if God chose 12 people that were in, like, Jewish, rabbis?
Yeah.
What if he chose 12 rabbis?
Yep.
What change would have happened?
Yep.
He chose 12 misfits.
Yes.
Guys
Correct.
that you never thought
Didn't
in
have
a
it
million
together.
years
Yep.
would do what they did.
Yep.
Didn't think they could do it.
Yep.
And he saw something in them.
And he did.
And that's usually, if you talk to most pastors, like, I'm a pastor's kid. You talk to me and Austin, who are both pastors' kids. Neither one of us, you would have talked to us 6 years ago, 7 years ago, neither one of us thought we would be in the seat that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, we are even though it felt like this is a clear trajectory.
Right.
For us, we were like, this is not a clear trajectory. And I'm like, God chose us. And I think if you talk to really any believer, any person that loves Jesus, that's how we feel.
Yes.
It's like there's no way that we should be where we are.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified. I've messed up. Mm-hmm. I can't get it together. Right. And they just need to be encouraged over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Which leads me to this, like, that is Peter and us right now. We're testifying of God's grace.
Yes.
This is what you talk about. Like, you need to stand firm in God's grace. So, like, this is what that looks like.
Yes.
It isn't like I haven't in no way, shape, or form have I earned this position.
Yep.
Like, none. Like, I do a lot of stuff, but I know all the stuff that I do does not land me here.
Right.
Like, this is God's grace on me to really clearly, if you don't know, come ask me, clearly plan out my life to get me to this point. Right. Like, I couldn't have made this up. Like, I couldn't have met you on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't have, like, I tried to meet you and I didn't get to meet you. Like, this couldn't have happened, but like, it's the grace of God. And that's what I preach to people that are broken. That's what I preach to unbelievers. It isn't that I figured it out. It's that I definitely haven't figured it out, but I did figure something out. Is that God is so good and he really loves me and he has a plan for me and he he has walked with me every step of the way. When I was running from him, he came and grabbed me by the collar and dragged me right on back.
Yes.
And like at the moment it felt like I'm being dragged back, but now I'm looking back and he picked me up.
Yeah.
And he carried me to this position that I'm in. And that's the
And he's done it for all of us.
Yeah.
And you can look through every story in the Bible. I mean, God has to encourage Moses. I can't do this. I can't lead those people. I stutter. Yes. I can't do it. Whether he's making it up or not, like you're going to do this. Yeah. You've got Peter. I mean, all 12 of those guys. We're all in the same boat. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but 3rd grade, 4th grade, I'm still wetting my pants in school because I'm too embarrassed to ask the teacher to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
Wet my pants in school. Wow. I've admitted this before. Joe knows this. Now it's going to be out on the internet forever. Wow. But
we'll clip this.
Like, why? If you were God, would you choose that kid and say that kid can't even ask to go to the bathroom, so he wet his pants in school? Would you choose that kid? He's going to be a preacher. No way. No way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what I had in my life? God spoke to me clearly, but then I had people come alongside me who encouraged me.
Yeah.
I know God spoke this to you. God's going to use you. God can do this, right? So, we need that.
And I think that's, same for me, is having people along the way just constantly reminding me even of what I didn't want.
Yep.
Like, you're supposed to be a preacher. Nah, leave me alone. Like, I ain't supposed to be no preacher. Like, you just saying that because my mama won. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but like legit, like I'm thankful for those little bits of encouragement that don't feel like what we think is encouragement sometimes, but it's really did instill encouragement what God has placed in my life. And I think many of that, God's grace and people encouraging me is the reason why I'm here.
Yep.
Still encouraging me.
Yep.
You still sit me down and instill courage into me all the time. When I get fun emails, like I'm starting to get those emails that you talk about in messages.
Just have them sent to Doug.
And but honestly,
you got the wrong address.
You see me, like I get down on myself, and then you and Austin and Doug do such a great job of just loving and encouraging me and going like, no, DeMar, that's not true about you. Maybe that's a little true. We talk about that, but I know. But like genuinely, like no, that's not true of you. Like God has called you here. You've blessed. Like He is blessing you. He's using you. Like man, you did such a great job. Like that's the stuff I need right now, and I need my brothers around me to do that. And us leading to your next thing, we talked about you showed a video of.
Hal Donaldson, Convoy of Hope.
Yes. I encourage you. We're not going to show the video, so go watch the sermon. Yep. It's incredible. Yes. Like, and I mean that. Like, don't just watch this podcast. Like, podcast is about the sermon. You got to go watch the sermon. That video was incredible. Echo Church MT on YouTube. Thank you, Joe. Echo Church MT
Please
on YouTube.
Watch the video.
Please watch that video. It's an 8-minute video, and the sermon is so good. The sermon is about 25 to 40 minutes. Depends on which one you watch.
We're shooting for 25, and we hit 40.
For sure. But in 1 Peter 5:13, you start talking about who is in Babylon, chosen together with you, sends you greetings. So does my son Mark. And you made this simple point, which is so simple, but I think so powerful, is we're not alone.
Yes.
And as we talk about like helping people, I think there's two things that I kind of want to point out in this is that if you are hurting, you're not alone. Yep. Especially if you call Echo Church your home, there are people in this church that love and care for you and will be ready to be there for you and serve you in ways that you need. Like we want to instill courage in you. So know that. But if Echo Church is not your church home, there's a lot of churches around this nation that love people and that love helping the broken.
Yep.
Because we're all broken.
Yep.
And that's what
Very true.
So don't think you're by yourself. Don't believe that lie. The second part of that is this. I don't want to skip past. This is something you want to say with that anyway.
Well, I mean, you get to the end of the letter, right? Yeah. She was in Babylon, probably the church in Babylon. John Mark, who's also failed, is called his son. The thing that I want to point out to people is that your greetings and your goodbyes are important.
Good.
Like how you greet people and how you say goodbye to them, it matters.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, your greetings and your goodbyes make people feel seen and not alone.
That's so good.
Right? So, if I'm making a video, Joe always has to get on me, smile. You need to smile, right? Like, it matters, right? People, they don't want to just have to sit through this and, But, like, the way that you greet people every day of your life, the way you greet your children, your spouse, your greetings, they matter to people. A smile can make them feel encouraged. 100%. A smile or a kind word when everything feels hopeless can give just a little ray of hope to somebody, And the same thing when you say goodbye. Like we've all been in spots where like, hey, we want to say something to this person. They're saying goodbye and they say goodbye to everyone but us. They miss us. And how do we feel in those moments? Terrible. We see unseen and, And so don't underestimate, like if you want to serve other people, your greetings and your goodbyes matter. They make people feel seen and known, and they know that they're not alone in what they're going through. And
that actually is the second thing I was going to say. The first is like we are called to be loved.
Yes.
We are called to be loved. So allow yourself to be loved. Find yourself around Jesus people.
Yes.
People that love Christ. You're called to be loved. But secondly, like you just spoke to, we are also called to love.
Yep.
And don't get stuck in one or the other.
No, that's exactly right.
You're called to be loved, but you're also at the same time called to love people. Yeah. So do the things.
And I think I'd love to highlight this point. Yeah. And I went over it so quickly at the end, but greet people who are in affliction with affection.
Yep.
And then the question comes, well, how do I know if someone's afflicted? Well, you don't. So greet everyone you can with affection. And, I know some people think for Christians, well, like you got to turn it on, turn it off. You can't live like that all the time. Yes, you can.
What are you talking about?
It's called loving people.
Yeah,
it's not something you turn on and turn off.
Does God turn it off and on with you?
Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying?
And you're not forgiven anymore.
No, exactly, right?
The blood doesn't work for you.
I know, like we all have bad days, and we all, we all struggle and we all go through our stuff. But like, if we would just pause to go, like, hey, I'm not the only one today, and there's people all around me, and I'm going to show affection to them. I mean, I'm not going to greet you with a kiss. It's not happening.
That's what the scripture
I bet you appreciate that, right?
I do appreciate that.
And this is this is good interpretation, right? It's understanding the context of the culture. Yeah. Everyone greeted with a kiss back then. We don't do that today.
Shout out to stopping that.
Yeah, I like handshakes, high fives, and hugs, right? That's what we do. But
some of you,
but yeah,
not even hugs. To be honest with you,
but it is like for them, it was a family thing.
Yeah.
You greet people with affection, and so that's what we can take away from that is there's so many people afflicted, there's so many people going through so much. Yeah. And just a simple kind word or seeing them or acknowledging them can make such a difference in their life. Yeah. Yep.
And we should take that as a challenge.
Yeah.
Like to do. I had a pastor say this. We don't expect your best every day, but we expect every day your best from that day.
Yes.
So like you're going to have bad days.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you can't give your best.
Yep.
To love people because God loves you. And from that love, we love.
Yep.
It's not something you're expected to give out of yourself. It's something that you expect to give because you receive it.
Yes.
So please know that you're loved and cared for. And there's people that are ready to encourage you in the body of Christ. And if you haven't felt that, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I know many of us have struggled with that. But in the same way, we are also called to love.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for one or the other and not ready to give the other or receive the other, you're going to have hard time doing either. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So this message was so good. We're running low on time.
Yep.
But I want to thank you for joining us again. This message is so good. Please, if you listen to this podcast and you leave and you don't immediately think, how can I love people? I'm just going to let you think about it real quick. Okay, you got it. Go do it. Genuinely.
And we kept the podcast brief.
We kept it brief.
Because we love you. We love you. We love you.
So
yes.
Quick.
Just want to encourage you.
But no, please, go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus. This is what it means. It's allow the church of God to love you.
Yes.
First of all, some of us are in a situation where we just don't believe that people love us in our churches or in church in general, and don't let mass media confuse what is happening in majority of churches in America, which is this: we love people.
Yes, that's right.
We love people. Don't be confused by what you see. We love people. No matter the sin, no matter the shame, no matter the issue, no matter the heartache, we love people and we're ready to love people. But secondly, don't just take it. Give it.
Yes.
Be ready to love people.
And I just add to that, right? If you haven't been encouraged by someone in a long time and you're disappointed, learn to encourage yourself in the Lord.
Yeah, that's good.
So that you have something to offer other people who need encouragement, right? Don't get stuck in no one's done this for me.
Yeah, that's good.
If you want that, if you want to reap it in your life, you got to sow it, right? And so encourage yourself in the Lord. Get out there, encourage other people. It will come back to you.
That's so good.
It will come back to you.
I have nothing good to say after that because that was very good. Pastor Paul, we're so grateful to have you again.
Good to be here. Always. Awesome. Thanks.
You're the best. Thank you for joining us. If you already here, so you watched it, but if you want to watch our sermons, or first of all, if you're here in the city, Echo Church, 2210 Dodge Avenue, pull up Wednesday night, 6:30, Sundays, 9, 10:30, and 11:45. Please come. He's just as good in person. He really is. I promise.
And
he's just as good. He is just, he may be even more bald if you get up close. No, I'm messing. But also, please keep listening. Keep supporting us. Share it to your friends if you think it's something that you would love them to see. Until next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next time.
Boom.